That's very interesting. Thank you very much. This part was very interesting. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And now let's move on our fourth part. It's the most interesting part as well for me, for our young students and professionals. This part is called Advice for our young students and our professionals. Well, what do you think is the best degree to start studying it right now? Have you heard, like, people are talking, it's not forced to study petroleum engineering or something petroleum geoscience. Right now, people talking a lot of stuff. What would you recommend us?
Well, as I told you at the beginning, when I was 5-10 years old, I remember hearing very well my father saying that this oil will be depleted in 20-25 years. Still today, we are still saying the same thing. People are still saying the same thing. If you look into statistics and progressions and trends, you will find that the oil and gas industry is actually increasing. It's not actually decreasing in the whole world. I have this graph that shows the percentage of contribution to energy in the world from all sources of energy: wind, renewable, including wind and solar and waves, hydro, and then oil, and then gas, and then nuclear, and so on. And you will see that, of course, renewable energy is getting momentum, is increasing, but also oil and gas industry is increasing, not the same rate, but it's still growing. It's not shrinking. One should maybe think that it's shrinking. Now, let's put this information apart. Now, there is this report that is, I think, published now annually by the UNDP, which is called Jobs of the Future. I'm not sure if it's UNDP, but anyway, there is this UN institution that is publishing a report, I think it's annually now, that's called Jobs of the Future. And if you look into it, you will find that they will tell you that in 2050, we will need more programmers, we need more data analysts, we will need more, I don't know this, I don't know that. And then you sit with people and they will tell you, 60% of the jobs that, my son is going to the university, to the first year in university this year, this last September or last November, because it's a delayed year. And they will tell him, 60% of the jobs that people that are enrolled in university today have not yet been created, which means that those guys will come out of the university and then they will invent new jobs, and there will be new jobs in the future. Let's put all those three information together and mix them together, and to say that I think, for me, the best degree that you should look for and apply for and work for is the degree that you like, is what you are interested in. It's not anything. It's not petroleum engineering, unfortunately. It's not mechanical engineering. It's not mining. It's probably not even engineering. If you are interested, if someone is interested to study psychology, political sciences, sociology, the science of the future, the science of the space, the science of whatever, it doesn't matter. What's interesting for you, this is the best degree that you should work for and work on.
That's a good answer. That's a nice answer. Thank you very much. That's very true. And also, which skills do you recommend students to learn as soon as possible, and why?
That's a different story. Now, skills, languages.
Can be, yeah.
Languages, especially English. Now there are trends. In my years, the trend was to learn English and French and maybe German. The trend now in the world is to learn Chinese, Spanish, Portuguese sometimes. Different languages. But let's put it this way. Skill is language. It's not enough for a person to know only his native language, or even to know only another language only. No, you need to have a third language if you can afford, if you can provide it. So that's the first skill, languages. Then second skill is computer. And of course, I mean, nowadays when we say computers, it doesn't mean anything, because computer is very diversified. And I would say programming, computer programming is becoming essential, or at least the notions of computer programming, the notion of how to program a computer. It doesn't matter if you will learn Python or C++ or C# or BASIC or whatever, or Fortran, the old ones, or whatever the languages that are there. But at least to have this notion of programming, how to program a machine, how to interact with a machine and have and program it. Now the third skill that I think is becoming more and more essential now is analytics. And maybe now I'm biased towards what I do. Analytics is becoming something very important in the world. Statistics and analytics and how to analyze information and so on. I think this is also very important.
Before moving our next question, I would like to ask, which language do you know? Like, I know you studied in France as well. Which language do you know?
I know Arabic. My native language is Arabic. I speak English and I speak French as well.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. And then let's go with petroleum again. What's the trend of petroleum industry? How to keep up with this trend?
I think the trend that is booming now in petroleum industry, and we've seen its effect now on the industry, is digitalization or digitization. And it's following the same trend for everything. Maybe petroleum industry came into the digitization world a bit earlier, a bit late, but it's keeping up. And I see this trend growing very high, and it has a lot of impacts. It has an impact on the prices. It has an impact on the knowledge, on the availability, on knowing how and when. I mean, it's I see this trend of digitization is affecting the petroleum industry in a very positive way, I would say.
Where do you see the industry is going in the future?
This is a very difficult question. I would say more, the petroleum industry, at least, it should be more robotics, less human interactions, more analysis than human reasoning. I mean, I would say more machine reasoning than human reasoning.
I would like to ask a question to you. Before you mentioned your teaching method, and your teacher used this method, and you really liked it. And like taking into consideration this, I would like to ask, what books should we be reading?
What books should we be reading in petroleum engineering or in general?
Well, I would like to ask about petroleum engineering, but if you have anything more, you can, of course, tell.
Well, since I'm not 100% a specialist in petroleum engineering, I cannot really tell you about petroleum engineering. But I will answer the question in a different way. Books are the essence of life. I mean, I'm sitting in a room. This is my office at home. And this is the real photo. It's not a background. Those are my books that I like. And lately, I mean, with the digitization of everything, I started having like several hundred other books on my iPad or my computer or my iPhone that I read here and there. And I personally believe that reading and books should be the hobby of everyone. We should read about everything. We should not restrain ourselves from reading about anything. When I was, now I don't have much time, but when I was in my PhD years, in addition to the books and articles that I had to read for the research, I used to read like 3 to 4 books a week, and in every field. I mean, whatever interests me. This week, I'm interested in cooking. Let's read about cooking and what's the science of cooking. This week, I'm interested in geopolitics. Let's read about geopolitics and what's happening in geopolitics. This week, I'm interested to read about science and the history of science. Let's read about history of science. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And I can challenge and I can assure you that doing this, I mean, it opens horizons for many things. I mean, you take one word from here and you take one word from there, despite the fact that it will enhance your language, because when you read books, you read, I mean, usually you read books in English or in Arabic or in French. I mean, the 3 languages that I know. But once I read a book in any of those 3 languages, it will enhance my vocabulary to start with, and then it will open different horizons. I mean, it will tell you stories about people. It will tell you, sometimes I read novels, sometimes I read about science. I mean, different readings here and there. It's really, I mean, reading is really an enriching experience for every human being. And it should continue to be like this. Unfortunately, we don't, I mean, at least in Egypt, I don't know about, yeah, I mean, in Egypt and in the Arab world, I know about that. We don't read enough. In Europe, I mean, statistically speaking, in Europe, we read a lot more than we read in the Arab world, for example, and of course, Egypt as well. But I think it's essential. I mean, we should read. Now, if you will ask me what book should we read about petroleum engineering, I would tell you, go to Google it. Write on Google, what is the topic that you'd like to know about petroleum engineering? And you will get the answers in seconds. It's there.
But what do you think about personal development? Because the books are affecting us consciously or unconsciously. We are taking some ideas. For personal development, what would you recommend?
It's the same. I mean, I also used to read a lot of books about personal development, and a lot of, I had this book that I think it was called Know Your True Potentials or something like this. It was a book of a lot of questions, and every 2 pages you have like 100 questions that you have to answer, and then at the end it tells you this is you and this is how we analyze your personality and so on. But I believe that those books are everywhere now. I mean, there's like I don't know, I didn't search it for some time now, but I think that if we will Google now personal development books, we will find something like 100 of them. Now, how to choose 1 or 2? When I'm, Yasser, this is me. When I'm interested in a subject, I only pick the first book that will come into my hand. And then I start reading. And it's not only, of course, about reading, it's also about reading and reasoning. I mean, you start asking yourself, why this guy is saying so, why he is doing that, and how can I benefit from what he's saying? And then I start saying, okay, well, then he's making reference to another subject. Let's read about that subject. And then let's read about that 3rd subject and 4th and 5th. And in 5-6 months, you'll find that you've read like 8-9 books about that subject, and now you have a good idea about it. So it's not only about a single book that you read about anything. It's about reading, reasoning, and then continuing to read and reading different points of view about any subject to have a comprehensive idea about it.
Very true. Thank you very much. Thank you for answering our questions very sincerely. We appreciate that you took time out of your schedule for us. As a conclusion, before we finish, do you have anything to say to us, to our audience?
I have really nothing to say, but to I'm flattered that that I'm called a guru. I don't believe, actually, it's not like I don't think, I don't believe that I'm anything extra or special than anyone who is in the webinar. It's only about perseverance, persistence, doing things, doing mistakes. Don't get ashamed. We all do mistakes. We all do things that, and we regret it afterwards, but we need to learn from it. And then we will do better. We will do better. We will do better. The one thing that anyone should keep on, if possible, is the passion about what he's doing. If you have a passion about what you do, then you will achieve everything. If you don't have a passion and you just do it as a job, it's, yeah, well, okay, you will get a decent life maybe, but no passion in life.
That's true advice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed today. I loved your
Thank you so much.
Sense of humor. I love your kindness. I see why your students are so happy. We are happy. We were really happy. We were really happy to have you as a guest. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for watching our session as well. I hope you enjoyed our talk. I wish you good luck in your upcoming quiz. Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you, Rahima. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Bye.